All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of hashtag CB99 Talks. This is episode 111, 111. We are 111 episodes deep, and this is the first episode of the year, 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. Of course, this episode was coming out on Tuesday, but at the time of this recording, it is still Sunday, January 1st. And yeah, day one of the new year, y'all. Kicking this thing off right. New year, same goals, or for some, we got different goals, but you know how it is. Everybody has those goals that they started at the beginning of last year, and then they somehow make their way to the next year because somewhere along the line we stop. We stop like halfway through a month and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do it next year," and that's how it usually is. But not this time, man. Not this time. I'm gonna focus on some things that I really want to get done, and we're gonna keep on moving, and we're gonna accomplish something. It ain't like I haven't accomplished nothing. I've been doing this show for like 3 years, so that's an accomplishment, right? We hit what 1,000 subscribers last year, and then we hit another 1,000 in the same year, which was crazy. I didn't know the show was gonna pop off like that, or the channel in general. But shout out to everybody that has been supporting, and keep on supporting, and I'll keep on doing this show. But yeah, man, we back again with another one. As y'all know, nothing really big going on this past weekend. It was the holiday weekend. Everybody just kind of chilling out. Some people partying. You know, I wasn't really partying this time. Just trying to take it easy and chill in because that C19 has been coming back, and it's been hitting a lot of people out here. The numbers have gone up, so I've been trying to avoid big crowds again. This whole thing kicked off like 3 years ago, and it seems like it's not going anywhere. It's going to have its days, it's going to have its months where it goes down, but the best thing to do is, whenever it starts to spike, is to stay away from it. And that's the one thing I'm gonna do this year. I mean, I got it last year, but I'm gonna avoid it again like I did the first 2 years when that C19 hit. All right. So yeah, man. Yeah, to kick this show off, we're going to talk a little bit about Fury grappling. Of course, the main event, Rose and Jillian Robertson, and then that'll kind of segue into uh, another topic about Jillian Robertson. Just her her decision to possibly move down to 115. And also talking about her moving down to 115, we had two other fighters that plan on moving down, Cynthia Calvillo and Macy Barber. So, that's a little discussion that I just kind of came up with yesterday because I was like, it seems like a lot of fighters are wanting to move back down to 115 right now. I wonder why that is. It seems like some fighters, it felt like, okay, we felt stronger at 125, but now everybody wants to move back down to 115 again. I wonder why that is, right? So we're going to talk about that. Jillian Robertson, Macy, Cynthia Calvillo, all of them talking about moving down to strawweight. Upcoming fights I'm looking forward to this year. Upcoming fights for this month. There's a few I want to go through, and some just jumping ahead up to 286. And just want to go over some of those fights with y'all, mostly in this episode. And what's the flyweight division really looking like? What's the future of the flyweight division? We gotta talk about this. Some people don't like this division, but to me, it is one of the best divisions right now. It's better than bantamweight. It's catching up to strawweight. It's definitely better than, well, there is no featherweight, so I ain't gonna mention that. Like, yeah, this is the division right next to strawweight now. It's almost neck and neck because they have a lot of talent, man. There's a lot of good, skillful women here. I think people are just expecting everyone to be like Whaley or Rose, like when it comes down to popularity. And granted, I understand that like popularity is one thing, but skills is another, right? And I know some of these fighters aren't bringing the same type of energy that you see some of the strawweight fighters bring. Between like the top five, they are going at it. The top five strawweight, the belt jumps around so many times that, you see these fighters, they really want to take that chance. But it just seems like, yeah, at flyweight, some of the fighters there, I won't say they're scared, but I think they kind of second guess themselves. And I think to wrap up the show, I'm going to kind of go into that a little bit, where people feel that these fighters are scared. I think it's more of just like sort of a self-doubt thing there. They get experienced mixed up with, just well, they delve too much into experience, and um, they let it hold them back from taking advantage of an opportunity when it's presented to them, right? So we'll hold off on that. We'll get into that, but let's backtrack, man. Let's talk about Fury grappling a little bit. This past Friday, between the main event between Rose Namajunas and Jillian Robertson. First off, I got to say, look, shout out to Jillian Robertson. She looks sharp. She's on her game when it comes down to grappling. This is her specialty. I'm never going to knock her when it comes to what she does on the ground. I never have. I felt at times she could be a little bit stronger, but her relentlessness and her pressure and her dog on the ground is never questionable. I never questioned that, and that's why going into this grappling match, I said, okay, Rose has been working on some things, and she's a well-rounded MMA fighter. That's why I stress that MMA fighter to most people. But when it comes down to just pure grappling, I don't think her mindset and her approach is the same as Jillian Robertson here. Jillian Robertson is the type of specialist that when it comes down to grappling, she's like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want. She's rubbing her hands together like, yeah, like we're gonna take this thing to the ground, and this is all I need. I ain't gotta worry about hands. I ain't gotta worry about clinch fighting. I ain't gotta worry about somebody kicking me in the head when I drop a level on them. This is gonna be straight up my world. And that's what it is with Jillian Robertson when it came down to this. Her confidence is through the roof. I mean, you can see with Rose, once again, I mean, you see this in her fights too, but in this particular atmosphere, she didn't look that comfortable. She didn't look that comfortable. She came in bouncing around like, this was an MMA match. I could already see it in her face that, she didn't look well prepared for this one, right? And that's not an excuse for her. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to make sure you prepare. That's on you if you're not taking the necessary preparations leading up to this type of match, right? Because it's still competition. You still got to perform to a high level if you want to win, right? So for somebody like Jillian Robertson, this is what she lives and breathes. You know what I mean? So her game plan never changes. Like what she does in here is just about the same thing she does in an MMA match. I mean, she knows that she has to work on her striking, and she will flick some shots out here and there, but her main goal is to still go to the ground. So again, her confidence was through the roof in this thing, and the outcome is what was expected. It really is. If you know what these type of fighters specialize in, Rose is more of a boxer. She's grown up to Taekwondo. Her footwork is some of the best in the game when it comes down to her striking, but she mostly uses her clinch fighting, her jiu-jitsu when certain things call for it. Where you see as fighters like Jillian Robertson, Mackenzie Dern, those type of fighters, they're always thinking of going to the ground and trying to submit you. You know what I mean? And that's where a specialist here makes more sense, but a specialist in pure image, like a specialist in pure grappling usually will come out the victor. But when you're looking at MMA, a specialist can only go so far. I still got a video coming on this too when I talk about a specialist versus a well-rounded fighter. I still want to do that video, but the well-rounded fighter, which is more so Rose, they will succeed because there's more to use. You don't have to go to the ground if you don't want to. If you want to keep it standing, you do that, right? That's how you take a person's weapon away. That's how a lot of fighters take away Jillian Robertson's weapon. But again, this is her world. This is the lion and the crocodile situation, right? Croc said, hey, the lion wants to cross my river, comes into my water, I'm going to take him down and drown him. I remember I saw a video that happened to female lion once. And then I seen one where, the cheetah was drinking water. Two cheetahs were drinking water. And close he got to the water, you can see that Croc just see his eyes as he was drifting slowly towards the cheetah, right? And then the eyes just went under the water. And the cheetah, both of them knew he was there, but they just kept testing him, and they just kept drinking water. Then next thing you know, he snapped right on that cheetah's little head, pulled him under the water. He was gone. His partner was just like looking. He was gone. So that's what this situation is like, Rose being the cheetah. She comes in here, wants to get some water, gets too close to that river. Well, Jillian Roberts, she thrives in the river. She thrives in the river, and she'll pull you under and drown you, right? Eat you alive. That's what it is. But I've seen it the other way around. I've seen it the other way around. That's when I see people say Rose would beat Jillian Roberts in MMA. She probably would. She probably would, because then that would be the line on the plane whenever the crocodile comes out the water. That's where the lion thrives, so he'll eat him. I've seen those situations, right? So it all just comes down to what the situation is, where the fight is taking place. And in this world, this is just Jillian Robertson. There's no other explanation for it. So for whatever, Rose says, we took this thing on short notice. We drove from here to here, just didn't feel it. That's on you. There is, to me, there is no excuse for certain situations like this. I mean, you know what to prepare for. You know what Jillian does, right? And that's kind of the energy that Rose carries sometimes. You know what I mean? I don't knock her as far as her skill set and performance, but to me, sometimes it seems like it's hard for her to prepare for the fight game or anything competitive. And it's kind of dangerous being a competitor like Rose, because she loves martial arts, and she at the same time doesn't carry that same energy as consistently as fighters like Joanna did, or Valentina, even like a Juliana Pena. She doesn't carry that type of constant energy where she wants to fight. And I think it can be separated, of course. Your love of martial arts can be separated from competing, because it can always just be used as a form of therapy, form of self-defense. You can teach other people, and that might be where Rose is at with her now, right? Like maybe she's not particularly that type of martial artist that needs to be competing in a business that is 80% entertainment, or 90% entertainment, over 90% entertainment, because that's what it is. Like the UFC may be martial arts, but it still requires a lot of your energy and a character and your mental. If you just want to perform on like low circuits in the gym, or teach other people, or write a book, you know what I mean, or be doing instruction videos, that's different. You don't have to get up so high, because Rose is the type of person, and she said this in the past, like, she has to get up, it's about perfection for her. Just like when she plays the piano, she's more of an artist. So, when you start to become that entertainer and you're under an umbrella like the UFC, you kind of have to compromise yourself, right? And if that's not the type of person that she is, then maybe playing the piano or being a martial artist in a personal life is something that she needs to more so do, right? Because you don't really hear this from other fighters. Whenever they're ready to go, they're preparing. Whenever the fight is a book sign, it's time to work. It's time to work, So that's what I want to see Rose do in 2023. I want to see her make that decision. Like, does she want to stick it out and keep pushing? I mean, she's 30 years old now. Nobody's saying she got to stay this long now. I mean, she's made it through the game this far, and I mean, she was a baby when she came into the fight game. So if she wanted to retire now, I think that would be better for her. She still got a lot of her life ahead of her to enjoy. And, that's what you want to do if you don't feel 100% in the fight game. The fight game is dangerous, right? So, yeah, that's why I want to see what Rose do. I want to see her make that choice. Does she still want to compete on this high level? Because sometimes it seems like it really eats at her. And that was another thing in the interview. It kind of seemed like this defeat almost took away something from her, like just one of her MMA matches. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't feel like that. I think like MMA fighters, when they hit this circuit, this is how they grow. Nobody wants to lose because it's still televised and it was a main event. But you still have to be like, hey, man, like, okay, I learned from this. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to learn at the same time, get a little exposure. And then I'm going to go back to the drawing board and work. And I'll be back on this circuit, So, yeah, that's what it is, man. I just think that it's on her to make that choice. She's been at this high level for so long. And if she can't uh, continue to carry that energy, yeah, she might just need to do martial arts as like a therapy thing and just, do it behind the scenes now and focus on something that's more artistic where you don't have to compromise yourself and feel like you have to get up to meet other people's needs, whether that be with her partner, Pat Barry, or performing in front of crowd. You know what I mean? Just saying. But yeah, looking at Jillian Robertson, man, like I said in this one, Jillian Robertson, this 135. Jillian Robertson actually came in looking sharp. She actually looked the part of somebody that was focused, and that's how you kind of see the comparison between these two. Like Rose definitely is a much better complete fighter when it comes to MMA, but you can see how Jillian Robertson never misses a step when it comes to her grappling, and she was ready for this thing. That's why she came in that the shape that she did. I mean, even when you look at the shape, like Rose was not in like bad shape or anything, but I don't think, carrying 135 is wise for her. It didn't look bad on her, right? But Jillian Roberts, you could see like she looked the part, like she was ready to go. And that kind of that'll lead us into the next topic here about Jillian Robertson here, because one of the things that Jillian has discussed now that she has her eyes on is moving down to strawweight. All right. Let me see if I can pull up the article here to where she was talking about this, because Jillian Robertson, even looking at her in this match, she didn't look too much bigger than Rose. I know some people say that she looked bigger, bulkier, but not to me. Like they looked about the same size. And even if you look at the frame of Jillian when she fights at flyweight on fight night, she doesn't look like a big flyweight. She doesn't carry a lot of physical strength. She doesn't carry a lot of weight in there. So, I could see why she would want to make that move down, especially if she feels like that's what's kind of holding her back, competing with much bigger girls, right? Because I've said that in the past, bigger grapplers will beat Jillian Robertson. Bigger, stronger ones will beat her, even if they're not a black belt, because in MMA, you can utilize anything when it comes down to any discipline. All right. So yeah, Jillian has been getting some really good savage type submissions in MMA, in the flyweight division, whether it be Cachoeira, Courtney Casey. Did she submit her? Yeah. Agapova, which is one of the most vicious of hers in a while, but it's on a lower circuit. And when she steps it up to the higher level fighters, the bigger fighters like Tyler or Miranda, those type of fighters tend to springboard off of her, right? They can springboard off her. So I got to understand right now why she would probably want to make that choice down to 115. Maybe she feels like she would feel a lot stronger. She would feel faster and maybe carry a little of the strength that she had from flyweight down to strawweight, where she could actually drag some of these girls down, because she drug Rose down in this one more. Like, she got in close on Rose, she just drug her down again. Like, and that's usually her method of getting these fighters to the ground. And maybe if she started out on an unranked tier at strawweight, you could see her go in there and drag some of these smaller girls down, and test her grappling skills there, right? But the one thing that she really needs to perfect or really get a better understanding of is her striking. If somebody has strikes in boxing, I'm just saying, look, I'm gonna keep saying that. Like, it's not a disrespect, it's just an honest opinion, something I observe. And I think Jillian Robertson does not commit enough to her strikes, to be a dominant fighter. She can get girls down. Yeah, she can get girls down with zero ground game, or even girls that just don't expect it, get them out of there. But when it comes down to her striking, when she does have to stand or make that adjustment, it's almost non-existent. So moving down to a division that is striker heavy, I mean, from Cheyenne Valismas to Corey McKenna, the unranked realms, to Sam Hughes, all the way up to the fighters like, the mid-range with Tisha, fast hands, to the Marina Rodriguez, Muay Thai specialists, to the power punches like Lemos and Wei Lee, and the, great boxers like Rose in there. you got strikers everywhere in that division. You got strikers everywhere. It's a striker heavy division. So for somebody like Jillian, you're gonna have to be able to master timing, master a well placed jab, master the fundamentals, so you understand what your opponent is presenting to you. Even if you can't strike like Rose, at least you know you can understand what she does, like where she places her feet when she's about to punch. Um, Study her shoulders on when she's about to actually commit to a punch. Learn how to take away a jab, parry a jab. You know, you don't have to be experts to do that. That's what I'm saying. Like if you can understand the fundamentals and how to close distance, then boom, you can figure your opponents out to say, okay, when they do this, then I can drop a level and take them down. Right? When Rose prepares to throw this type of kick, I can grab this leg, boom, take her down. Same like with Marina. You know what I mean? Like that's some of the issues I think. That's some of the cutoffs I think Mackenzie Dern had in a lot of her fights, a lot of her stand-up fights, like with Jan Jana and Marina. So keen on throwing wild hands or getting the fight to the ground, but not knowing how to get it to the ground. So I think for Jillian, physically, she looks the part of a strawweight, but I think the technique and the skills is going to have to catch up when it comes to, just her overall stand-up. But yeah, she could be stronger. Who knows? Like she could move down. She could be stronger than some of these other girls. But she's gonna have to be prepared to be pieced up at times when you don't know how to move your head or you don't know how to commit. Because Agapova was landing on her in this fight. Agapova was landing some big shots that put some knots on her brow, and I was like, wow, she is taking a lot of hits on the inside here. So imagine, with her fighting fighters like Tisha Torres, who's hard to stop, who's a very good strong fighter that can stop takedowns and stop submissions like she did to Mackenzie. Somebody with good wrestling. Like say if Tisha comes back from her pregnancy and then boom, they made this fight. She got to be prepared for that hand speed and that type of takedown defense. So yeah, man, I just think that she has the frame and everything and a great ground game that could be dangerous, but getting the fight to the ground and striking will be an issue for her. So yeah, Jillian, that's number one that wants to move down to 115 or could possibly do that. Let me see here. She did say this was after the Agapova fight. Hold on. Let me see. She did say, yeah, this was a while back when she said I heard there was a card in December and she said that would be an awesome opportunity, maybe someone at 115. My coach has been kind of pushing for it, and I'm a little on edge about a move to strawweight, but I definitely been walking around smaller than I used to, and it's definitely an opportunity I'm looking at right now. Okay, so yeah, it was more her coach pushing her, and I guess it kind of had her thinking because she spent the majority of her career at flyweight, right? But with her getting smaller, like even in this grappling match, she wasn't like huge or thick, I mean, like she could cut down some weight. I mean, if she's on the right diet plan, and right nutritionist, she can make that move, and I think her coach feels like there's better opportunities for her because he's seen her lacking in fights with bigger fighters. He probably said, oh man, like Jillian, shoot, she ain't much bigger than some of these girls that, with strawweight, shoot, we could get her down there if she makes the right moves. And she only 27. She's only 27 years old. And yeah, she's only 27 years old. That would be the time to do it. And she's not that big. So yeah. Because I mean, we look at her record right now. She's definitely got some promise, but it could just be the ranking. I mean, the weight class too. It's the skills too, but I mean, the weight class could be a big part of it too. Because when she does get fighters to the ground, she doesn't. Bigger fighters get it down. She doesn't really have the tools to win those fights either, right? Like, see, she'll beat a Courtney Casey, then lose to a Santos, beat a Poliana Mateo, and let me see and then she'll lose like a Miranda Maverick or something like that, So I think this would be the time for her to do it. But yeah, hands is going to be a big part of her game, man. She's just so stuck on being a specialist, that could be her downfall there. All right. But Yeah, we got two other fighters here that want to move down. Macy Barber. I had seen her recent interview a few weeks ago, which we talked about. She's also trying to make her move down or considering that, and she seems pretty serious about it, though. Like she's really serious about it because she's to the point where she says, "Look, Andrea Lee is her last fight at strawweight at flyweight. Andrea Lee's her last fight at straw. Andrea Lee's her last fight at flyweight, and she's gonna move on to 115 pounds. Only time she's gonna do 125 is if it's a short notice. If they call her for a flyweight fight, she's gonna take it. But her main focus now is strawweight after this Andrea Lee fight, and that sounds. I was like, wow, okay. So let's pull up this article here, that James Lynch interview. Hang on 1 second here. All right, here we go. Okay, yeah, because before, as y'all know, she could easily make 115. She was in a different shape, but over the past few years, she definitely has put on a little more weight. And I remember her saying it was because of the nutritionist who had her eating like certain amount of calories a day, and it just wasn't working out for her. And that's why, there was that move up. But she slowly, but surely, with a new nutritionist, has been actually getting smaller. And if you've seen Macy Barber now, like, around the core, she has been getting more ripped, under the right guidance and under the right plan. Like, she's starting to get back down to where she used to fight at, which was 115. And if you look at her style there, she seemed a bit more agile. She seemed to be more athletic, throwing more high kicks, being able to bounce around more on her feet. She came up to 125. She looked a little bit more like she plotted a lot, committing to be more of a clubber. And she's been slowly evolving into that style where she's being more of a clinch fighter here at flyweight, but she could be denying herself a chance. That's why she wants to try this at 115, because I think it's going to take more commitment, more discipline. And with that kind of a cut, it could push her to be more so of a fighter that wants to be more dominant and get through it. You know what I mean? Like when she moves down, it's going to make her say, okay, I did it. I can do anything now. So it's time to get into these rankings and go for that title shot at 115, right? Because I'm sure if she stays at 115 and goes for it, and say if she could win or lose, then she might move back to 125, right? Because it's still going to be a tough cut. It's going to be a tough battle. I mean, she's 24, but yeah, you still, understand a lot of women just start to put on weight as they get older. They have the frame like she does, they will put on more weight than like a Jillian Robertson, I believe. But yeah, her chances at 115, I think she has some pretty good chances. I think she does, compared to flyweight, you could see her making her way up the ranking too. I mean, like, it's really going to depend on what she looks like with Andrea Lee now. Like, some of these other fighters that have good takedown defense have been stronger than her, like Alexa Grasso. That is going to be the thing that stops her. So if Andrea Lee is able to do that too, then we're going to say, okay, might be the size, the size and the style here, similar to Jillian, the skills have to catch up. But Macy actually had success at 115. So we're going to say, oh, okay, maybe she needs to move down and try it there. Maybe some of these bigger girls that have good takedown defense, she can't hang with, right? So this Andrea Lee fight is going to be a big test for her, and it's going to tell us a lot of things. It's going to tell us, can she hang with a well-rounded fighter like Andrea Lee? Can she use her strength in this type of fight? So that's going to tell us, hey, if she struggles, okay, that might be why she want to move down to 115. But yeah, I can see her having some success at 115. With her being 24 years old, it's not going to be like this rough weight cut as long as she continues to eat the right amount of calories and keeps the right nutritionist. I think she can do it. I think she can do it. And I think when she does, you'll see her commit more to that style like before. She does have that black belt in karate. That's why she's really good at throwing those kicks. She's with Team Alpha. She has been working on her wrestling and her grappling, and that could be a problem for some of these other girls that are smaller. Like if she fought again, I'll use a Tisha Torres example. Her and Yan Zhang are teammates, right? So they're not going to fight. It could be problems for like a Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Waterson, those type of fighters. So I think the more and more, she gets physically fit, you could definitely see her in much better spirits and really wanting to go down to 115. She'll show like some real hunger, I think. And I think it would be a nice addition, man, if she could do it, if she can move down, because we got fighters that are getting older now at strawweight too. Like, if you can make this weight and you're young, and you do have like the skills and the talent, yeah, I mean, I have no problem with that. I mean, right now, yeah, you got to look here. Ebos, she's actually moving up. So exchange her for Macy Barber. And then you got Tisha, who's out. Waterson, who's already out of the top 10. Jana, of course, she's still in there. Marina is. Jessica Andrade coming back down after this fight. So everybody's kind of becoming a tweener too now, right? Between Andrade, Ebos, now Calvillo, Macy Barber, Jillian Robertson, everybody's kind of like moving up and down. So, yeah, it would be a nice addition, I think. She'd be like one of the youngest there. Macy Barber would be. I think a fight with her and Mackenzie Dern would be interesting too. That would be a fight that tests her ground game and her striking. But yeah, I think that, yeah, with those things, like I said, sticking her nutritionist, discipline, staying on that diet, eating the right things, and continue to work out like she has, you'll see some. You'll probably actually see her lose a lot of weight and have her walking around like 130 or something like that, where the weight cut won't be as rough. And hopefully her power would carry too. That would be a big benefit for our Macy. So we'll see. We'll see what she looks like with Andrea Lee. Who knows? Like, if she knocks Andrea Lee out, she might get that confidence, say, you know what? Forget this. I want to knock Aaron Blanchfield out, or I want to go for Manon or something like that next, and make my way up to Valentina now. All right. And the last fighter here we have, who's number 14 at flyweight right now, is Cynthia Calvillo. Cynthia Calvillo's been talking about moving down to strawweight again. She's been talking about moving down to strawweight for a while now. She's been talking about moving to strawweight, like, I want to say earlier this year, because after that one loss to Andrea Lee, she was talking about moving back down. Then she winds up taking on Nina Ansaroff at 125, which I was like, what are you doing? I was like, I thought we were moving back down. She takes that fight, loses that fight, and that puts her on a 4-fight losing streak right now. Okay. So with her on a 4-fight losing streak, they're looking at that option. She's 9-5 now. And I've never seen her to be this type of fighter to lose like this before. Like, she's really done a 180 in her career. She used to be so tough and scrappy to me. And I always thought 115 is where she needed to be. But then she started missing weight. She missed the weight in, I think, the Marina Rodriguez fight. Talked about moving up, and I was like, is this really wise? Like, she's like, is she really a flyweight? I was like, I don't think so. Like she's smaller than Macy Barber, and Macy Barber's talking about moving down. Like, I don't think this weight is for her, and I really don't. I mean, I think it just comes down to, like Macy Barber said, it's just like the right discipline. But she moved down, fought Caitlin Kagan, lost. Andrade lost, got stopped 2 times in a row by Lee and Andrade, and then Caitlin outboxed her pretty soundly. I think Cynthia Calvillo had some success in there, but Calvillo was fighting that different fight again. Just not grappling like she used to, or getting the fight down to the ground. And with her not being able to get these bigger fighters down, these bigger, stronger fighters down, and just trying to box, just shows you that, okay, maybe she is a strawweight. Maybe she does need to commit to a plan where she can fight at this level. So if she moves back down, that is wise for her now. I mean, I don't think she's the same strawweight that she used to be, of course, because there was a time when I was like, I want to see her fight Tatiana Suarez. There was a time when she was growing into herself. I wanted to see her fight Grasso. I wanted to see her fight that level fight, because she beat any of them like Andrade. I don't know, even back then, but she was high on. I was high on her at that time because she was in the right division with the right style. But can she go back and do that now? I don't know. She's 11 years older than Macy Barber. Got to think about that too. She's already 35 years old. She's on 4-fight losing streak. Where's the fighter's mind at that point? When you lose that many times, sometimes you have to kind of question yourself. Even if you are moving back down into a different weight, you might say, uh-oh, can I still perform to this high level? Do I have that hunger? Because you got to be real, man. When somebody knocks you out or is able to neutralize you, it takes something away from you. Even if it's in a different way, it does take something away from you. So that kind of takes away from confidence. So I don't think she'll be the same strawweight Calvillo that we used to know. Hopefully a much smarter one that needs to go back to some of her roots, her wrestling roots, her grappling roots here, because that was where I used to find her very, very entertaining and successful at. And she did have decent boxing, but I think she overcommits to it now. That's where her issue was, So going back down, hopefully she can kind of pick up where she left off and go for those takedowns and be that scrappy fighter that she used to be. But that's a big if. That's a big if for her. But yeah, all three of these fighters are, considering going back down to 115. I'd say at 27, G-Rob still has to. I think she has the ability to do it, especially Macy does at 24. They could do it, for maybe 3-4 fights till ever they get a title shot. The one that's in question here is Calvillo, mainly because of the age. She's 35, but she is small. She's not that big of a flyweight now, so she could do it and have some success. But with time not on her side, 4-fight losing streak, I'm really hoping the best for her, though. Because, I still like Calvillo. She just kind of fell off the radar with some of her approaches, fights. But if she does go down to 115, that is her best chance. That is her best chance as of right now. Why are most of these girls moving down to 115? Maybe because, like I've said, 125 is really starting to pick up when it comes down to these hungry, skillful fighters. And you got a lot of big grapplers in there. Like, out of all three of these fighters, you can look at them and you can just look at them and say, okay, I could see why they want to move down to strawweight. Again, for Jillian Robertson, she's not that big, right? She's a little bit limited, so she can't she can't depend on grappling in fights with flyweights. She can at strawweight too, but but she does have the size, and she probably feels like that's where she can compete because she's not that big of a fighter. The fighters are bigger here. Gatto's kind of long and lean. Montana's a big fighter. Tatiana's returning, so Karine Silva's not a small fighter. There's a lot of heavy flyweights out there, all the way up to the Manones and Tyler. Those are big girls, right? So when you look at how her frame looks compared to these other fighters and the type of wins she's picking up, yeah, that's why she was considered 115. Macy, Macy Barber, like I said, young and not that much of a great grappler either. Probably thinks that I could have success in 115 where I used to be. Calvillo, small, 4-fight losing streak. That says it all right there. Couldn't even beat Nina Azarov at 115 cleanly, convincingly. Close fight, but she couldn't do it, right? So when you look at these three fighters, why? They all have that same thing in common. They're just not that big. They're not really like physical specimens in there when it comes down to flyweight like these other girls. Miranda, even JJ's growing into the division, and has a style that can hang. So yeah, they just want to take that chance, and I think they should. I think now is Macy Barber's chance to do it. I'm interested to see what Jillian looks like. Calvillo, she's got to go back now. Got to go back if she wants to stay afloat in the UFC. All right. Let me know, guys, what y'all think in the comment section about these flyweights going to strawweight. Hey, why not? Andrade, Ebos, they all going up to flyweights. Let some girls go back down, right? Only if they can do it. So yeah, not this weekend, but next weekend We got the first card taking place in the UFC. All right. First card is Saturday, January 14th. And that is the, what's his name? Imavov Gaslam card. Um, got a couple women's fights on there. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Hold on. Imavov Gaslam. And this is the first card of 2023 UFC Fight Night. It actually kicks off at 4 p.m. next week. And I will be doing a fight companion for this one because it's kicking off with some explosion, right? The bantamweight fight, of course, it's an okay fight, but I mean, the explosion we kicking off with here is, for you WMMA fans, is Priscilla Cachoeira, the Zombie Girl, versus Sijara Eubank. And this fight is at 135. They got it listed at 135 here. Uh-oh. So I guess Cachoeira is going to continue her bantamweight track, because her last fight against Ariane Lipsky was 135. Was it because she missed weight? Was it because she missed weight on purpose, you think? Well, she did miss it because she couldn't make it, right? Yes or no? Let me check it real quick before we get into it, because Cachoeira is about to go back in here for another 135-pound fight. I always thought Sarge wanted to move back down to flyweight, and I thought she was right back to her discipline now. I thought she was gonna, or a newfound discipline. I won't say back to her old ways, but I thought that she wanted to make that move down to flyweight. Let's see. It was Lipsky that missed weight. Never mind. Ariane Lipsky missed weight. She missed weight for the flyweight fight. Yeah, Ariane Lipsky missed weight by 2.5 pounds for her flyweight bout against Cachoeira. So it wasn't Cachoeira. All right. Not going to knock the Zombie Girl like that. Okay. So yeah, the Zombie Girl must be taking this fight at bantamweight. Maybe she wants to take her chances since she knocked out Lipsky. Yeah, it gave her some confidence or something. But now you got Sarge returning to bantamweight as well, which she never looked her best at. I knew she did beat Julia Avila, but when it came down to like Ketlin Vieira and those fighters, she couldn't really hang with them because she just didn't have the reach. She didn't have the strength. She had the durability, but not the reach to really get to these big girls like that. Since her last fight against Gatto, which was the first time she's been stopped. She's racked up that 7-7 record now. So, this is going to be kind of one of those fights where you might say it's a chopping block fight for Sarge. Is this a winnable fight for against Cachoeira? Yeah, it is. To me, it is. Cachoeira, a lot of people love her style, but, your love for a particular entertaining style doesn't necessarily mean they'll always win, right? People love knockouts, and that's what she does. She's that type of fighter. Not too many dimensions to her. Sarge brings at least, some slugging, some boxing, takedowns. Her wrestling is on point. It's just her lack of commitment and her ground game. And I mean, her record reflects that. She's 7-7. So Sarge is a 50-50 fighter. I'm just being honest. She's a 50-50 fighter, meaning that sometimes she's here, sometimes she's not. Right? That's what a record is, right? Somebody that's like 10-1 means that the majority of the time they're here, like almost 98% of the time they're here, but the other time they just had an off night, right? But somebody who's 7-7, you say, okay, this person's 50-50. I don't know about them. They're questionable. Are they going to show up this time or are they not? Are they going to make weight this time or not? And that's where we're at with Sarge. So I think this fight at 135, I think power-wise, because Cachoeira's power does carry up, it could favor her when it comes to the stand-up. But Sarge is durable at 135 as well, because she doesn't have to worry about the rough weight cut. So when it comes down to the carrying of the power, I would say that's Zombie Girl's, that's in her favor. Strength, I would say, is Sarge. And in this fight, her technique could very much will win because here she doesn't have to worry about fighting somebody as big as like Ketlin Varia, or who else did I say she fought and lost to at who else did she lose to at a bantamweight? She did beat Sarah Morse when she fought. Yeah. She lost to Ketlin Varia and she lost to Penny Kansan. She lost to Penny Kansan and Betch Kaware, when she fought at bantamweight. So fighting somebody like Catchaware, who's one dimensional, she definitely has the skills at 135 and the strength to hang because you don't have to worry about the weight cut. So her chin will be good and her gas tank should be fine. And this with no excuses, right? It's usually when she's at 130 to 125, that's when it comes in. So I actually kind of favor Sarge in this fight. We never know when something lands from her, but I think Sarge can take a few bombs before she gets the fight to the ground. Should be a good one, though. That should be a good one. That's the first fight of the new year for WMMA fans. And that'll be like the second fight on the prelims. So we'll do we will do a fight companion for that. Let me make sure that date. Yeah, we will do a fight companion for that. So tune in for that in 2 weeks. Okay. And the other fight on the card we have is Rocky versus Ketlin Varia. Rocky Pennington versus Ketlin Varia. I know not everybody is feeling this fight because the bantamweight division isn't really hitting on what it used to be. Rocky's seen better days. Ketlin's has seen better days, but Ketlin is the fresher of the two, and she is the one that some people would rather see her get a title shot. Rocky's talking about getting back into that title run again, and if she wins this fight, it's more than likely she will try to argue or petition whatever she got to do to get that title shot, right? And now she got a baby coming along. You probably will hear her trying to go for one more big fight with the champ. I mean, the last performance against Nunes doesn't, to me, even though it was like 4 or 5 years ago, doesn't really warrant for a rematch, even though she has won. How many fights since then? Hold on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 3, 6. So she is 3-5. Well, excuse me. She's 5-3 in her last 8 fights. Good wins too. I mean, she lost to GDR, Amanda back-to-back. Then she beat Irene Aldana. I thought Irene was going to win that fight too, but Rocky came back. Then she lost to Holly in that rematch. Beats Renault, Panny, Macy, and Aspen. Those are good names. Those are really good names for her. So yeah, Rocky is still like that dangerous gatekeeper. She's like an educator in there, man. Like her style is still very much alive when it comes to these other fighters. Maybe not the top level fighters, but she can beat a lot of bantamweights. And I could see her winning this fight here too. I mean, wouldn't be the best for the division because I wouldn't want to see her fight Amanda again because Amanda would still do the same thing she did 4 years ago. But what she possesses, could definitely beat somebody like Kelly. Her boxing is very sharp. I think next to like Rose, she has a very, in Grasso, she has a very, very solid boxing approach in MMA, compared to some of these other fighters. Definitely, like it matches. I think it's underrated. I do. I think we see Irene as more of the boxer in the division, but nah, man, Rocky's just as much of a boxer. I mean, clinch fighting boxer, jabbing her way in, mid-range boxer. You see, she beat Irene Aldana. Irene's boxing couldn't hold up against hers. She was jabbing the hell out of Aspen Ladd and hitting with that right hand, beating AC Barber to the body with good punches till she submitted her. So yeah, I think Rocky's boxing is pretty solid. Couldn't hang with GDR though when it came down to it. That shows you why she's the best at it on the hand game. But yeah, this fight isn't like, to me, like something I'm really looking forward to. I'm gonna watch it. I'll call it with y'all. But I think for the best of the division, people want to see Ketlin win. But I'm a Rocky fan, so I like Rocky's style. So if she wins, We'll see what happens. I just don't think a title shot should be, in the making for her off of that. I'm just being honest, man, because I don't want to see her go through what she went through in that last fight. It was hell, man. It was the last time she fought. It was hell. I'm just being honest, man. All right. So yeah, those fights are coming up on the first card, January 14th. Uh, January 14th. Then we have January 21st. We have the UFC 283 card. And these are the women's fights. Let me make sure. Early prelims. Yeah. To kick off the early prelims, the very first fight in the night is going to be a hard one, boy. We got to have Josiane Nunes, Zara Farron, those Santos at a featherweight, at the featherweight limit. Okay. So yeah, this should be a good one, man. Somebody's getting knocked out in this fight, I believe, man. I mean, Josiane Nunes ain't playing when it comes to them hands. I mean, it's all right to say somebody's gonna get knocked out because she got hands too. I mean, she rocked Megan Anderson bad in that fight, so she can hit hard too. And she's on that thin string right now too. So she's going to have to come in there with her, ready to perform to the best of her ability. I mean, she's 39 years old and hasn't won a fight yet in the UFC. Been signed to the UFC for about 2 years now, or 3 years. Who she lose to? Felicia Spencer and Megan Anderson, I believe. Let me check her record. Yep. Signed back in 2019, almost 3.5 years. Lost to Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer. Hasn't fought since February of 2020. Dang. So 3 years. She ain't fought in 3 years, y'all. I don't know if I could pick her in this fight. She ain't fought in 3 years. So 36 years old was the last time she fought. 3 years. I didn't know it'd been that long. I mean, it must have been injuries, I believe, right? She was supposed to fight Eileen Perez. Josiane Nunes back 2 years ago. She was supposed to fight Josiane Nunes back in 2021, y'all. This fight was rescheduled 2 years later. Wow. I mean, I probably saw that before, but man, wow. Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully she can dig deep, man. She's gonna have to come with her A game because Josiane ain't playing. Josiane, she definitely came into the game looking like a monster, knocking out Bea Malecki in the first round. Fought once in 2021, then she fought once last year against Ramona Pascal, who she was landing bombs in that fight. And that was her only fight, though. She's been out for almost a year herself. But I think the difference with her is, she's been staying sharp. She's still been training. She's 10 years younger. She's 29, and she's kind of on a mission too, and I think her power carries up well at 145, even though she's only like 5'1" or 5'2". She's still strong. She's long arms. She has long reach, 67-inch reach, and the no neck thing, it really helps out because she can keep her head low and avoid a lot of punches and a lot of shots roll off. So in this fight, I'm looking at early on Josiane Nunes. I'm looking at Josiane Nunes to win this thing, I think, by knockout. I think she just got that momentum. If Zara loses this, that's 0-3 for the 3 years that she's been signed. She might be getting cut, y'all. I'm just saying. Okay. And 283. Let's see and make sure there's no other women fights here. We also have flyweight fight on the main card. Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. And this is the fourth. This is the second fight on the main card. So they knew this was going to be worth it. They knew this was going to be worth it. You got two fighters who throw bombs. Lauren Murphy's a grinder. She's the average fighter in the division, like Cavill said. Doesn't do anything special, but she's a grinder in there. She works hard. Then you got Andrade, who can do either weight. She goes in between. She's one of the toughest, most powerful, one of the shortest too, but that doesn't make a difference for her. what she lacks in height, she makes up for in Hulk power, you know, and Hulk smash strength. So yeah, she makes up for a lot of that. Murphy has the height, size, certain things to use to her advantage, but her defense is lacking, and that's where somebody like Andrade could have success. So yeah, man. Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade is Valentina's daughters, and yeah, she owned both of these girls, right? She dominated Murphy for 4 rounds. Made Jessica Andrade look like a little baby in there in 2 rounds. Crucifixed her and finished it. Yeah. So yeah, Shevchenko's daughters here going to have a matchup, and I think the winner of this fight should face Manon Fiorot, who wants to fight in July or August, coming off her ruptured ligament. That makes sense, right? Andrade, let me put it this way. Lauren Murphy should fight Manon next, regardless. Win or lose, fight Manon next. You know, if she loses, I think she's still one of the highest level flyweights here. So, yeah, put her in there. Andrade, win or lose, go back down to 115 and continue your mission there, because you're not beating Valentina. You have a better chance. Even though you got knocked out quicker by Wei Lee, she has a better chance at 115 of making a competitive fight with Wei Lee, right? Because that was so quick. You know, she could take a different approach and make it last longer and give herself a better chance, where technically she just got destroyed and dismantled by Valentina in 2 rounds, right? 2 rounds she got taken apart, and that says chances don't look good. The Wei Lee finishing her in quick fashion, that was a quick finish now, but if she don't come running in, she has a chance to take her time and win. So if she loses this fight, move back down. But do I see her losing this fight? I could see her losing this fight to Lauren Murphy. I could. Like, Lauren could control, but Lauren's kryptonite is whenever fighters are bigger and stronger and they can take her down and they can land on her. You know, she has that problem, you know, where those fighters that like Sarge and Valentina have done, when they could take her down, she will have problems. But will Andrade go for a takedown? Will she go for big punches? I don't know. Lauren used that length. Use that length, and you can keep her in the end of a jab all day. Sometimes, you know, Lauren too wide open. You know, she can get hit too. So it's all in how she reacts to one of these punches. I couldn't pick against her when she fought Miesha Tate. I said, you know what, Lauren's gonna win this fight. I'm kind of leaning towards Lauren Murphy in this fight. It might be the size thing, but I don't know. I don't know. Would I be a fool to pick Lauren Murphy in this one? I wouldn't necessarily say fool, man, because yeah, Lauren Murphy's 39, but she's got size, she's got skills too. You know, because Jessica Andrade's only effective when she can get in on a tiny fighter or somebody that doesn't really have like durability, right? I don't know. I'm not picking yet, but it should be a good fight. I will. Will I call this one? I don't know if I'll be able to call this one. I will call next the card on the 14th, because let's see. This is 283. So 283 is on the 21st, the following weekend. All right. But yeah, those are the fights on 283. And previous weekend, y'all see, was this lineup. So yeah, we got about 2 women's fights per card over the next 2 weeks. Okay. Oh yeah, another fight I wanted to look at real quick. This one's gonna be on UFC 286 though. JoJo. I haven't talked about it on my channel yet. Y'all know I'm a JoJo fan, right? JoJo Wood versus Luana Carolina. This fight here, I thought JoJo had retired for real. You know, I thought she did. You know, I thought she moved on. She got married and was just gonna, you know, maybe be a spokesperson for the UFC or something like that. Do something different. But no, she's still here. JoJo's back. She's taken out of the rankings after that last crushing loss to Alex Grasso. Took a little break. She's coming back March 18th, UFC 286 against Luana Carolina. Took a year off, right? So after a year off, I guess she wants to test out her skills and try it again against the unranked fighter, which is what she has to do. I mean, um, she hasn't fared well against anybody in the top 10 at flyweight. And that was the one thing, even as a JoJo fan, I could always admit, like, JoJo was a very good striker, good Muay Thai fighter. But even when it comes to her Muay Thai and her stand up, she gets hit a lot. Even back in the day, man, when I first seen JoJo fight, all the way back to, her pre-Invicta days, I love that style she had. But as she moved up and evolved, she was still keeping her head on the line and still eating a lot of straight punches from other fighters. And it carried up. It carried all the way up to now. And that's why she is where she is. Still like her as a fighter, still enjoyed her style, but now at 37, I don't know if she can hang without evolving. Because let's see, we're going to look all the way back to, let's say, 3 years ago when she fought Chikagan. She lost that fight. It was close. Won a close fight to Andrea Lee. Got submitted by Jennifer Maia. Beat Jessica in a dog fight because that's what she is. She's a dog. She can hang, and if you stand in front of her, JoJo can win a fight. She got that striking like that. So let's see, 3, 6. She's 2-4 in her last 6 fights. So she lost to all these top 15 fighters like Chikagan, Maia, Murphy, Santos, and Alexa Grasso. And in those last 2 fights, she got rear naked choke 2 times in a row in the first round. Okay, so that tells us a lot of different things about JoJo. She's a bit worn down, lack of defense, ground game is still lacking, which it has been over the years, even under the wings of, fighters like Roxy and them that she's worked with. Elevation, right? Or Syndicate. And Lauren Murphy took her to the ground in 1 round and had a lot of success, almost got submitted. So I don't know, man. JoJo might just want to fight out the rest of her contract, I think. And what better way to do that than against Luana Carolina, right? Luana Carolina is a safe opponent. She's a Muay Thai fighter. Long, tall, but doesn't really carry like power. So I've seen this in boxing again. Whenever a fighter comes back after a long layoff, they come back against a unranked fighter, lower ranked fighter, somebody that's not packing a lot of power or has a big, big punch. So for JoJo, it's similar. She's back against unranked fighter that's more her style, doesn't hit hard, doesn't have a ground game really, So it's a fight I could see JoJo winning, but you never know. You never know. With her head on the line, Luana Carolina could use volume to beat her, like Chikagan did. JoJo's just one of those fighters. I might have to do a corner talk episode on and kind of talk about, the years that's passed by with her, where it kind of slipped. It kind of slipped after, I'd say, her first loss to Marina Moreau, man. Like when she just didn't, improve on her takedown defense and her grappling. Like Joanna was more of what I thought JoJo was gonna be, but a harder hitter. Like I think JoJo hits harder, and I thought JoJo was gonna be that type of fighter like Joanna and get the belt. Then out of left field comes Joanna, and she just runs it, man, because she just was on a different level. But yeah, we'll see what's up with JoJo though. We'll see if this is a fight where she's fighting out her contract or she's trying to fight her way back up. Because she's not moving down to 115. She can't make 115. She was having a hard time making her way back in the day, So I don't see her doing that, and I don't see her fighting back into the top 10 because with the Blanchfields, the Arujos, even Arujo and these other, she pretty much lost to everybody now. She pretty much lost to everybody that's been up there. Lost to everybody she lost to everybody that Valentina beat. So that kind of tells you, I don't think she's going for that. I mean, her and Valentina got one thing in common. They both beat Jessica I. But Valentina beat Maia. JoJo lost. Valentina beat Lauren Murphy. JoJo lost. Valentina beat Santos. JoJo lost. Valentina beat Jessica Andrade. JoJo lost. Valentina beat Chikagan. JoJo lost. Then the fighters that she did beat, like Andrea Lee, hasn't fought Valentina, and Grasso beat JoJo, but Valentina ain't fought her, so she ain't fighting Valentina yet. So yeah, that's wild, right? Yeah. Hopefully she's just fighting out of contract. Like I said, I'm gonna watch the fight, just praying she doesn't get hurt in there. Yeah, it's a couple months from now. Let me know what y'all think, But yeah, last thing I want to talk about. We've been on here about an hour now. Last thing I want to talk about here is I'm just looking ahead of the flyweight division here in the UFC. What's next? Just put a couple fighters pictures up here, not really focused on all three of them, but what's next at flyweight now? What's the future hold for us at flyweight, man? Especially for Valentina. Like, what's her schedule looking like? What is her schedule looking like? Is she gonna be having a busy year? Is she gonna have fights lined up? Is she gonna have an active year? Is she gonna fight at least once? Well, hopefully she'll at least get one fight, but is she gonna fight 2 times like she used to? Or is she gonna get 3? I think she could get 3. Like, by my schedule, I think she could get 3. By my matchmaking, she could get 3. But if they do it the wrong way, she's not. And I think she would definitely do 3. And if she won 3, that would guarantee her fighter of the year. I've said this before. But yeah, I think the flyweight division right now, we've got an interesting year for it. We got some nice comebacks, on the horizon. We got a couple good fights, that make sense. And some fighters that want to go for the belt, some fighters that need to. First off, we got, Casey O'Neill, who's been out since February of last year, and coming up on 11 months. I guess she'll be coming back in like February or March. She hasn't said really yet. I guess her ACL is healed up, but she'll be coming back after a year off. Still 25, so there's no rush there. She's been working again, been training. What's next for her? Probably the fight that she asked for against Jennifer Maia, maybe. Maybe she'll be getting Jennifer Maia. Because I don't think she's the type of fighter that needs to fight down. There's nobody that can fight down that makes sense. Because Ebos is fighting Arujo. Calvillo, I wouldn't do that. She's moving down to 115. Cortez is out for however long, I don't know. Macy's on to fight Andrea Lee. So all those fights are out of question. I don't think they'll give her an unranked fighter. I think they will give her Jennifer Maia, who's 8. Because they want to push Casey O'Neill next into the top 10. She's 11 right now, but they want to put her in the top 10 now because, they want fighters like Ebos and Blanchfield to take over now. They're trying to slowly get out the fighters like Chikag and Murphy and Arujo and them, and Maya. So I think Casey O'Neill would make sense for Jennifer Maia makes sense for Casey O'Neill right now as far as moving up. Like I said, if she win that fight, I don't know. But it'll be a good lesson for her and good comeback fight. Alexa Grasso, as far as Alexa Grasso, I think her next move might be Valentina. Because I don't think Valentina wants to wait around till the summer to fight. Because Manone's not going to be ready for a summer fight against her. When she comes back July, August, it's going to be, one of these other girls like maybe the winner of Arujo Blanchfield. No. Arujo Ebos. Like, Manone might wind up fighting one of them or fighting Lauren Murphy Andrade winner. That's going to be her next fight probably. So Valentina needs a fight now, like the spring. So Grasso would be that one. Grasso doesn't have anybody lined up. And at number 5, she could be that one. Because everybody else, Tyler Santos got Blanchfield. Caitlin's not fit for a rematch with Val. Lauren's got Andrade. The only 2 are Manone and Grasso. Manone out again. Grasso makes the most sense. So hopefully they just go ahead and make that fight. They didn't do Santos rematch. So if you're not going to do Santos, then it means you're going to do Grasso, right? Because out of the 3, ruptured ligament for Manone, Blanchfield for Santos. So neither one of them are for Valentina. Who's next for Valentine if y'all wanted to come back in February or March? 2+2 here. 2+2 here, y'all. It's Grasso. It's got to be Grasso. And it should be at this point. It really should be. And I say I don't look, I know Manon fought the number one contender, but to me, I feel like Grasso should be more of in a place to fight for it because she's 6 years in the UFC now. And this is her chance to get a title shot. 6 years and you haven't got one yet. So let this be it. You get the title shot now. I want to see her try for it. So let's go. So it should be her, maybe like February or March. That'll kick off a nice new year. Valentina wants it. She's like, yeah, I like this style. This girl looked good in her last fight. She was watching, right? As for Santos, she got her hands full. I know Santos been talking, but that's what we want, right? Some fighters don't talk, but at least Santos is doing that. And, I just hope she don't look past look past the fighter in front of her in Blanchfield, because Blanchfield could come around and do something big. Like Santos got a lot of tools, but got to remember Blanchfield is a sharp grappler. She is. Now, this is not MMA. I mean, this is not a grappling match. It's not Fury grappling, but still, like, she's that technical with it when she gets on the ground. She can find mistakes just like that. She's the higher level practitioner when it comes to jiu-jitsu. She's the black belt, right? I believe, what is Tyler? Brown? Purple? Let me know in the comment section. But, of course, MMA, putting it all together, the more complete fighter is Tyler, which has been proven. But you never know what could happen, man. So, I'm looking forward to, the announcements. Announcements alone are going to be interesting, man. Like, it is like 2023. I think when we see Shevchenko Grasso, we're going to be like, uh-oh. Then we see Casey O'Neal come back against Maya. We're going to be like, uh-oh. So we already like, oh, when we saw Santos and Blanchfield, Then whenever Manon comes back later in the summer, we're going to see what happens with her. But like this early quarter, we're already kind of like on edge. I am, want to see what Casey's fighting. I want to see who Juliana Miller's fighting. I want to see who Juju's line up against. So all around the division is interesting, at the bottom to the top. I want to see who Juju's coming back against. I want to see who Valentina's fighting. Tatiana Suarez is supposed to be coming back in another month or so, right? No opponent name, right? So it's just there's a lot of announcements that have me on edge and that could be something very, very much groundbreaking for the division. Now we have Santos coming in. You got Ebos, and the division is starting to really, really come into itself now. So I can't knock it when people say this is a bad division, right? But yeah, man, the last thing I wanted to say too, man, is like, with some of these fighters though, like it's kind of like the final thing I'll say. A lot of these fighters, how we looking like with Manon and Grasso and Andrea Lee and some of these fighters that don't go for it. Like, I don't think it's like just pure cowardice in these fighters. Like, none of them are cowards, man. Like, Manon's not a coward. She's a tough fighter, man. Like, I gotta always rock with her too, man. Even Grasso, I rock with her too, man. Like, I rock with all these fighters, but you got to remember, man, like, it takes a special person to be a fighter, man, but they are still human. Manon is still human. Grasso's still human. And I'm not fully trying to defend and just say they shouldn't have gone for it. They did right to not go for the title shot. I still believe they should have, but I still don't think they're physically scared of a fight against the champion. I think it just comes down to a little self-doubt there, because even in the past, fighters back in the day, like, they had to use, some fighters like Ken Norton in boxing, they had to use hypnosis to get ready. They had to use like a hypnotist to, psych them up or put them in a zone where they could, feel like they were fearless. Some fighters be going on, stuff that I don't co-sign, like, shrooms, and not during fights, but, drugs, certain hallucinants, to open their mind, and like LSD and things like that. And I'd be like, man, I ain't into that stuff, but, just some meditation and prayer is fine. For me, But I just think that type of stuff is just evident that even though they are special, these people have to go to certain places, dark places sometimes, to perform at a high level. And it takes an even special person to hold a belt like Valentina, though, somebody like her. But you never know with these other fighters, like what they're going through mentally. Like they do they second guess themselves sometimes, because then it's like, oh man, like if I'm not prepared, I could lose this fight, and I could lose all my endorsements, my spot, I could lose my contract, lose my momentum. So they want to make sure they got the chess moves right, everything in place. But like I always say, that's what I'm looking at now. But like I always say, you have to prepare from the beginning. Well, when you're in a division like this, you should be always preparing for that big dog, because y'all know Valentina wasn't going anywhere. So from day one, y'all should have been studying her. But so by the time you get to number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, you can say, yeah, I know what's up with Valentina. I know what's up with her. Yeah, I'm ready for that. We've been working on this. We seen her when we was, still coming up before we was signed. We've been watching what she's doing. And like I said, in boxing, guys that want to knock somebody out, that's what they be doing from the jump. Like that's what I think this young kid Jerron Boots Ennis is doing in boxing. Like he's watching Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. He's watching what they do because he's preparing for that. All the while they trying to negotiate this fight, he's preparing to beat both of them. So yeah, like that's the part that I think every fighter should carry. But then there's the other part that just tells me, okay, I know what these fighters can go through sometimes. Like they're looking at the big picture and they want to do certain things, but you can't always do that. You can't always do that. You can't second guess yourself, man. Like they do it, but you can't at this level. You really can't. But my main point is they're not cowards like that, man. Like they're doing something that we can't even do right now. So I don't think anybody is like just scared of anybody like that when it comes down to it. But I mean, shout out to all these fighters that fight, man. Like even the ones that lose, you know what I mean? Like they're part of our entertainment, so I can't get upset over it. I just can't get upset over it sometimes. But I think 2023 is going to be good for it's going to be a good year for the division, flyweight, strawweight, whatever. I think WMMA period is going to be in good hands with the women we have fighting. I think Valentina's going to have a good active year. Going to have some tough fights coming up. Will she still hold the belt? I don't know. That's the question. Will Valentina be champion by the end of the year? Or will Weili be champion by the end of the year? We'll see. That's the question. Who is more likely to lose their belt in 2023? Is that a harsh way to put it, since Weili just won her belt? I mean, it's serious. It's a serious question. It's a serious question. Who's going to keep their belt by the end of the year? Will they both keep it? Will Valentina lose it? Will Weili? Who knows? Will Tatiana come back this year in February and make a big statement? Will she get to the top 5 by the end of the year, or top 10? We'll see. A lot of questions to answer, guys. Will Andrade move back down to 115 and have success? I don't know. Will Manon get her title shot? I don't know. All right. Will Joanna come back this year? She was being tested. Shout out to Sink. He sent me that IG story. I flipped by it, but yeah, he sent it to me. She got tested at like 6:30 a.m. Joanna did. So she's still under contract with the UFC. You never know. You just never know. USADA came through and gave her a little test. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, that's all I got on this one, y'all. So let me know what y'all think about some of the topics here on the show this episode. But yeah, we're looking forward to some big things this year. I'm still trying to think if I'm going to start back doing interviews here. I haven't really, set up any interviews and felt like reaching out because, just haven't. I just haven't had the time. And, I just been enjoying talking, and y'all been enjoying hearing me and reporting on the WMMA news and doing breakdowns and things like that. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, I know I'm going to keep doing the show, doing some new things, bringing Corner Talk back and bring on some more Who's Next, and just other videos that y'all want to hear me do. But let me know in the comment section what y'all want me to talk about too sometimes. Like if there's something y'all want me to speak on. I know I had one subscriber reach out to me, he say like some of my other videos I do when I talk about the mental and different things about different fighters besides breakdowns. So I said, okay, yeah, I'll keep doing it. So yeah, this year, the goal for 2023, let's see if we can get to 4,000. We racked up 2,000, hit the over 2,000 mark in 2022. So let's see if we can get to 4 or 5. All right. Because it's free promotion for WMMA, and y'all got a place to come and chat with me, right? So yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the show here on YouTube, Combo Breaker 99. Also on these other platforms, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast at. Y'all know where to go. Happy New Year again, guys, and I'll catch y'all on the next one next Tuesday. I've been consistent with it every Tuesday, 7. It's going down. Your favorite WMMA podcast, Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.